Knud the Great, the greatest of the Viking leaders, created an empire during his lifetime by uniting the Anglo-Saxon and Scandinavian people. As in the case of Alexander Urged, the foundation for Knut's success was laid by his father, Sven I, who was the former king of Denmark and Norway, and the first Scandinavian to rule all of England, and not just Danelag, the area of Danish law. In turn, the basis of his triumph was laid by Sven's father, Harald Bluetooth. In other words, their family strove for the unification of Northern Europe and succeeded quite successfully in this. In 1013, Sven organizes a full-scale invasion of the lands of the Anglo-Saxons. He had 10,000 people and a formidable fleet of 200 ships. In his Scandinavian lands, he leaves his eldest son Harald II, and takes the youngest, Knud, with him. This decision is probably due to its origin. One of Harald's most powerful allies was Boleslaw the Brave, and Knut was his close relative on his mother's side. His mother, known as Gunhilda, Svetislava, was either the daughter or the sister of Boleslav. So, Knud turns out to be half Slav. Probably it was he who led the Slavic contingent of this army in England. Shortly after the invasion, in 1013, Sweyn defeats King Ethelred the Unready and becomes King of England that same year. The following year, Sven dies and his army recognizes Knud as the new king, at the same time as his brother Harald II was declared king in Scandinavia. By 1016, Knud defeats the returning Ethelred and his son Edmund Ironside, becoming the sole king of England. In 1018, Knut's brother dies and he goes to Denmark to take the paternal and fraternal throne. However, the locals were indifferent to him, and even offered full resistance. It is said that in this campaign a certain Godwin, close to Knud, the father of the last Anglo-Saxon monarch in the history of Britain, Harold II, especially distinguished himself. Subsequently, Knud turned his attention to Norway and Sweden. In 1015, Olaf II, better known as Saint Olaf, overthrew Harald II, and returned Norway to the control of the Norwegians. But this bright episode of separatism did not last long. In 1026 Knut inflicted a terrible defeat on him and his Swedish allies at the Battle of the Holy River, probably near Old Uppsala. No one else could resist Knut. In 1028 he overthrew Olaf and became the king of Norway and the hegemon of all northern Europe. In 1035, Knut dies. He was able to realize the dream of his ancestors about a united North, but, unfortunately, this empire soon collapsed. This is not Knud's fault. He did everything right, and in addition to his military activities, he was an excellent ruler who established a system of taxation and law. He never underestimated his rivals and resorted to various methods and tricks to defeat them. For example, by the time of the invasion of Norway, he bribed the most influential nobles and Olaf simply could not gather enough strength. In general, the problem is not in Knud, but in his people themselves. The fact is that the Scandinavians and Anglo-Saxons, due to their isolation and small numbers, simply did not have the necessary assimilation potential, like, for example, the Romans and Iranians.